Lowe's knows how to help make your home holiday ready for less. Get Select Style Selections vinyl flooring for just $1.99 per square foot and have it installed before the festivities begin. Our team can help you every step of the way. See a Lowe's Red Vest associate or visit Lowes.com/holiday install to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save. Basic install only. Date restrictions apply. Subject to availability. Installed by independent contractors. See associate for details. Contiguous U.S. only.
Welcome to the Strange History Podcast, where we talk about the weird and the wonderful and sometimes not so wonderful history that has shaped our world into who we are today. This season, we're talking about folklore and fairy tales, and this week is no exception. Today, we're going to talk about Iceland. Iceland is rich in folklore with a long tradition of storytelling and mythical creatures that have captured the imagination of its people for centuries. It is a treasure trove of mythical creatures, legends, and tales that have been passed down through generations. The folklore of Iceland is deeply rooted in the country's unique natural landscape, harsh weather conditions, and cultural heritage. We're going to start with the legend of Greta the Strong. This is the story of Greta Ásmundarson, a legendary Icelandic outlaw and warrior. Greta's adventures and struggles and encounters with supernatural beings are chronicled in this saga, including his battles with trolls, witches, and even walking corpses. Greta was born in the late 10th century and was known for his incredible strength and resilience, as well as his turbulent and adventurous life. The saga began with Greta's early years growing up on a remote farm in northern Iceland. From a young age, Greta displayed remarkable physical prowess, but a spirited and defiant nature often led to trouble. He was known for his hot temper and tendency to engage in conflicts and brawls. So he was the epitome of what we would refer to today as a bad boy, and would likely have a gaggle of ladies swooning in his wake. As Greta reached adulthood, his reputation as a formidable warrior grew. He traveled across Iceland seeking fame and challenging formidable opponents. One of his most famous feats was defeating a vicious and supernatural creature known as Glam the Ghoul. Glam the Ghoul had haunted a farm and terrorized its inhabitants. Despite his extraordinary strength, Greta's life was far from easy. He became an outlaw after slaying a man during a dispute, and this forced him to live in remote and inhospitable areas, constantly on the run from the authorities. Greta's outlaw years were filled with encounters with hostile forces, including trolls, witches, and other dangerous creatures. Greta's adventures took him to various parts of Iceland, including encounters with the powerful chieftains and warriors of the time. His exploits were a mixture of heroic deeds and personal struggles. He faced physical and psychological challenges, often battling his own inner demons and the consequences of his choices. Despite his outlaw status, Greta remained an admirable figure in Icelandic society. People were both fascinated and fearful of his exceptional strength and resilience. His saga became renowned throughout Iceland, earning him a reputation as one of the greatest heroes in Icelandic folklore. In the final chapter of his saga, Greta met his tragic end when he was betrayed and ambushed by his enemies. The story of his life and his valiant battles against the forces of evil became a testament to the resilience and indomitable spirit of the Icelandic people. The legend of Greta the Strong continues to be celebrated in Icelandic folklore, highlighting the complex nature of heroism, the importance of personal integrity, and the enduring legacy of one of Iceland's most iconic figures. Let's move on to the story of Deacon of Myrka. This story revolves around a deacon who encounters a ghostly procession while traveling at night. He follows the procession to a church where he witnesses a supernatural gathering of elves and hidden people. The story highlights the beliefs of the hidden world coexisting with the human realm. The story of the Deacon of Myrka is a haunting and chilling tale. It revolves around a deacon named John who lived in the remote village of Myrka in the late 18th century. John was a respected member of the community known for his devout faith and religious duties. However, behind his pious facade, John harbored a dark secret. He had made a pact with the devil himself, selling his soul in exchange for the dark powers and forbidden knowledge. With his newfound abilities, John began to practice black magic and engage in wicked deeds under the cover of night. His actions grew more sinister with each passing day, and the villagers started to notice a change in his behavior. Rumors of John's malevolent activities spread throughout Merca, and the people grew fearful of him. They believed that he was responsible for the misfortunes and tragedies that befell the village, including the mysterious disappearance of livestock and the sudden deaths of several villagers. One stormy night, a group of brave villagers decided to confront John and put an end to his dark reign. Armed with crosses, holy water, and determination to rid their community of evil, they marched to John's house. As they entered, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the bone. John stood in the middle of his darkened chamber, surrounded by ancient books, bizarre artifacts, and the stench of sulfur. His eyes glowed with an unholy light, and a sinister smile played across his lips. The villagers wasted no time in casting their holy implements at John, chanting prayer and invoking divine protection. The deacon recoiled in pain, his powers weakened by the purity and righteousness of their faith. But he was not ready to give up without a fight. John unleashed a torrent of dark magic, summoning shadowy creatures to defend him. The villagers stood strong, their convictions unwavering. They fought back with all their might, wielding their faith as a shield against the evil that had consumed their once beloved deacon. In the end, the combined force of their prayers and determination proved too much for John. He fell to the ground, his body contorting and writhing as if battling an unseen force. And then, with a final gasp, he succumbed to the darkness that had consumed him. The villagers, exhausted but victorious, realized they had freed Merca from the grip of the deacon's malevolence. They burned his book and artifacts, erasing any remnants of his wickedness from their lives. From that day forward, the story of the Deacon of Merca served as a cautionary tale, reminding the people of Iceland of the dangers of succumbing to darkness and the importance of remaining steadfast in their faith. It was a reminder that even the most respected and trusted individuals can be seduced by the forces of evil, and that the power of unity and unwavering belief can overcome even the darkest of shadows. Folklore cannot be without its cute animals. Icelandic culture is no exception and has seals. Iceland has the seal skin. This folklore story tells of the relationship between humans and seals. According to the legend, seals are believed to be humans in disguise who can shed their skin and take on a human form. If a seal's skin is taken by a human, the seal is trapped in human form and they cannot return to the sea. The sealskin story, also known as the seal's wife or the selkie, is a beloved tale in Icelandic folklore and other maritime cultures. It tells the enchanting story of a mythical creature called a selkie who can transform from a seal into a human by shedding its seal skin. The story begins with a fisherman, or a lonely man wandering along the shore, where he comes across a group of seals basking in the sun. Among them, he notices a beautiful female seal who captivates him with her eyes. In a moment of irresistible fascination, he takes her seal skin, preventing her from returning to the sea. Without her skin, the selkie is trapped in human form and becomes vulnerable. The fisherman, drawn to her ethereal beauty, takes her as his wife, and they live together in a small coastal community. The selkie appears content, adapting to her new human life and fulfilling her wifely duties. However, she always longs for the sea and yearns to return to her true home. The selkie and the fisherman have children together who inherit their mother's captivating charm and connection to the sea. But as they grow older, the children become curious about their mother's hidden secret. They stumble upon the sealskin hidden away, uncovering the truth of their mother's true origins. Unable to resist the call of the sea any longer, the selkie dons her sealskin and bids a tearful farewell to her family. She returns to the water, diving beneath the waves, and once again becomes a graceful seal, leaving her human life behind. Heartbroken, the fishermen and their children watch as she swims away, disappearing into the vast ocean. Though they feel the sting of their loss, they come to understand that the selkie was truly never meant to be bound to land or human life. They carry the memory of her in their hearts forever, touched by her presence and the magic she brought into their lives. The tale of the sealskin serves as a reminder of the importance of respecting and honoring the natural world and its inhabitants. It speaks of the transient nature of love and the necessity of allowing freedom of choice, even if it means letting go. The story embodies the bittersweet beauty of longing and transformation and the enduring connection between humans and the enchanting creatures of the sea. All kids love dolls, but Iceland and the Icelandic dolls carry a long tradition and story that is steeped in their culture. Icelandic dolls are inspired by Icelandic culture, folklore, and traditional costumes. These dolls often showcase elements of Icelandic heritage, including traditional clothing, accessories, and sometimes even representations of mythical creatures from Icelandic folklore. Icelandic dolls are typically handmade and crafted with attention to detail. They can be made from various materials such as fabric, yarn, wood, porcelain. Some dolls may feature intricate embroidery, knitted garments, or miniature replicas of traditional Icelandic clothing, like the Icelandic national costume known as the búningur. These dolls are often sought after as souvenirs or collectibles by visitors of Iceland. They serve as a charming reminder of Icelandic culture, and they make unique gifts or decorations. You can find Icelandic dolls in specialty shops, souvenir stores, or even online. But how did they become so important to Icelandic folklore and culture? Well, here is their story. Once upon a time, in a small village in Iceland, there was a little girl named Freya. Freya had a deep fascination with Icelandic folklore and traditional culture. She loved hearing stories about elves, trolls, and hidden people from her grandmother. One day, Freya discovered a hidden door in the attic of her old family home. Behind the door, she found a secret room filled with an astonishing collection of Icelandic dolls. Each doll represented a different character from Icelandic folklore, from the mischievous Yule lads to the mystical hidden people. To Freya's surprise, the dolls magically came to life as soon as she entered the room. The dolls told her that they were enchanted beings who had been waiting for someone like her to unlock their powers and help them protect Icelandic folklore from being forgotten. Guided by the dolls, Freya embarked on an extraordinary adventure through the stunning Icelandic landscapes, encountering trolls, elves, and other creatures from the stories she had grown up hearing. Along the way, she learned valuable lessons about bravery, friendship, and the importance of preserving cultural heritage. With the help of the dolls and her newfound friends from the folklore realm, Freya managed to overcome challenges, outsmart wicked creatures, and restore balance to the delicate relationship between the hidden world and the human world. As Freya's journey came to an end, she returned home, forever cherishing the memories of her extraordinary adventure with the Icelandic dolls. She continued to share the stories and traditions she had learned, ensuring that Icelandic folklore would live on for future generations. Next, we're going to move on to the elves and the hidden people. In Icelandic folklore, elves known as Alfar and hidden people known as Huldufólk are believed to inhabit the rocks, mountains, and hidden places in the Icelandic landscape. These beings are often depicted as small, human-like creatures with magical powers and a deep connection to nature. Many Icelanders still believe the existence of elves and treat their habitats with respect and caution. There is a tale of elves and the hidden people that touches on these mysterious creatures. Once upon a time, in the mystical land of Iceland, there was a small coastal village nestled amidst rugged mountains and shimmering fjords. The village was known as Hafnarfjörður, which means harbor ford, and its inhabitants lived in harmony with the forces of nature. In this village, the people held a deep respect for the hidden folk, who were believed to dwell amongst the rocks and the cliffs. One particular family, the Johnsons, had a special connection with the hidden folks. They would often leave offerings of bread and milk outside their homes as a gesture of goodwill. One stormy night, as the winds howled and the waves crashed against the shores, the Johnson family heard a soft knock on the door. To their surprise, standing outside was a tiny hidden woman, her hair shimmering like moonlight and her gown woven with delicate flowers. The hidden woman introduced herself as Freya and explained that her village, located deep within the mountain, was facing a dire situation. A wicked troll named Greta had unleashed her fury upon their homes, causing chaos and destruction. Moved by the plight of the hidden folk, the Johnsons offered their assistance. With the guidance of Freya, they embarked on a perilous journey through treacherous terrains and mythical landscapes to reach the hidden village. Upon arriving, they found the hidden folk in a state of despair, their homes in ruins, and Grilla, a towering figure with fiery eyes and jagged claws, terrorizing the villagers with her dark magic. The Johnsons and the hidden folk devised a plan to outsmart Grilla and restore peace. Using their wit and cunning, they set traps and illusions to confuse the wicked troll. The hidden folk's powers, combined with the Johnson family's determination, proved to be a formidable force. Together they managed to banish Greta from the hidden village, freeing the hidden folk from her tyranny. As a token of gratitude, the hidden folk bestowed upon the Johnson family a magical amulet which would forever connect them to the hidden world. From that day forward, the Johnson family continued to be guardians of the hidden folk, preserving their stories and protecting their homes from harm. And so the story of the Johnson family and their brave encounter with Greta became a legendary tale passed down through generations, a testament to the enduring bond between humans and the hidden folk and the enchanting folklore of Iceland. Let's move on to trolls. Trolls are prominent figures in Icelandic folklore. They're often depicted as large, strong, and dim-witted creatures that live in the mountains, caves, or other remote areas. Trolls are usually considered dangerous and can turn to stone if exposed to sunlight. Numerous rock formations and natural features in Iceland are said to be petrified remains of trolls caught by the rising sun. One of the tales passed down through Icelandic culture about trolls is the story of Porgrimr. In the deep valleys of Iceland, nestled amongst the rugged mountains, there once lived a troll named Porgrimr. Towering and fearsome, Porgrimr had wild long hair and a massive club made from a tree trunk. Porgrimr was known for his mischievous nature, often playing tricks on unsuspecting travelers who dared to wander near his domain. His favorite pastime was to create illusions and confusion to those who crossed his path. One day, a brave young adventurer named Sigurd set out on a journey through Icelandic wilderness. Sigurd had heard tales of Porgrimr's tricks, but was determined to prove his courage and wit. As Sigurd ventured deeply into the valleys, Porgrimr spotted him from afar and decided to test the young traveler. The troll conjured a thick fog that surrounded Sigurd, making it impossible for him to see the path ahead. Undeterred, Sigurd remained calm and relied on his instincts. He followed the sound of a nearby stream, using it as his guide. With each step, the fog grew thicker, and Porgrimr's laughter echoed through the valley. But Sigurd was not easily fooled. He closed his eyes and relied on his other senses. He felt the breeze against his skin, listening to the rustling of the leaves, and noticed the smell of the damp earth. Sigurd trusted his intuition and pressed on. Suddenly, the fog began to lift, revealing a stunning waterfall cascading down a rocky cliff. Sigurd had successfully outsmarted Porgrimr's illusion and found his way to a hidden gem of nature. Impressed by Sigurd's resilience and resourcefulness, Porgrimr approached him with a grin. He revealed his true form, a massive troll with an expressive face and eyes full of mischief. Porgrimr congratulated Sigurd on his triumph and praised his bravery. From that day forward, Porgrimr and Sigurd became unlikely friends. Sigurd would visit Porgrimr from time to time, and they would share stories and laughter amidst the breathtaking beauty of the Icelandic valleys. Word of Sigurd's encounter with Porgrimr spread through the land, becoming a legendary tale that reminded travelers to trust their instincts and face challenges head-on. And so the story of Sigurd and Porgrimr, a tale of wit, friendship, and the enchanting trolls of Iceland, continue to be shared by campfires, inspiring future adventurers to navigate the Icelandic wilderness with courage and a hint of mischief in their hearts. Next, we're going to move on to the Yule Lads, which we mentioned prior in one of these tales. The Yule Lads are a group of mischievous characters in Icelandic folklore who visit children during the Christmas season. They are the sons of the troll couple, Grilla and Lepaludai. Each Yule Lad has a distinct personality and often plays pranks or leaves gifts for children, depending on their behavior throughout the year. Let's talk about the story of the Yule Lads. Once upon a time, in the frosty landscape of Iceland, there lived a family in a cozy cottage nestled amidst snow-covered hills. This family eagerly awaited the arrival of the holiday season, not only for the joy it brought, but also the mischievous visitors known as the Yule Lads. The Yule Lads were a group of 13 playful and mischievous characters who would visit homes in the 13 nights leading up to Christmas. Each Yule Lad had a unique personality and brought either gifts or pranks, depending on the behavior of the children in the household. The first of the Yule Lads, known for his stiff legs, would sneak into the barn to harass the sheep and steal their milk. He was followed by another one who had an insatiable appetite for cow's milk, who would visit the cowshed under the cover of darkness. The third Yule lad, a tiny lad who loved stealing leftover food from the kitchen, was quickly followed by another, the spoon licker, who would sneak into homes to lick the spoons used for cooking. The mischievous pranks continued. The pot licker would feast on the remnants of pots and pans. He was joined by the bowl licker, who eagerly devoured the leftovers found in bowls. The sixth Yule lad was known for his love of slamming doors and waking up household members with loud noises. He was followed by the sky gobbler, who adored the traditional Icelandic yogurt named skyr and would search for it in the fridge. The eighth Yule lad was a sausage snatcher who would grab sausages hanging from the rafters. They were soon followed by the peeping Tom, who would peer through the windows to catch a glimpse of any gifts left unwrapped. The 10th Yule lad, the doorway sniffer, had a remarkable sense of smell and would detect any delicious scents coming from homes. He was followed by another called Meat Hook, who would reach out with his long hook to steal any meat left unattended. The 12th Yule lad, the candle stealer, would take pleasure in swiping candles for unsuspecting households. And finally, the 13th Yule lad was the sausage swiper. He would slyly snatch sausages left hanging by the hearth. Honestly, this sounds like my dogs. Though their antics might seem troublesome, the Yule lads brought joy and laughter to the hearts of the Icelandic people during the holiday season. Children would leave their shoes on the windowsills, hoping to find small gifts or treats from the Yule lads the next morning. As the Yule lads departed each night, they left behind a tiny bit of their playful spirit, making the holiday season in Iceland a time of enchantment and merriment. And so the story of the Yule lads continued to be passed down through the generations, reminding children and adults alike of the magic and mischievousness that filled Icelandic winter nights during the festive season. Let's move on to the Nyker. The Nyker is a creature from Icelandic folklore that's said to inhabit lakes and rivers. It is described as a shape-shifting water spirit that can appear as a horse or a handsome man. The Nyker lures unsuspecting people, especially children, into the water to drown them. The Icelandic folklore warns against approaching unfamiliar horses near bodies of water, as they could be the Nyker in disguise. So here is a tale of the Nyker. Deep within the tranquil lakes and the winding rivers of Iceland, a creature known as the Nyker resided. The Nyker is a shape-shifting water spirit, capable of taking the form of a magnificent horse or an alluring human. Legend has it that the Nyker would appear at the water's edge, its shimmering coat reflecting the sunlight, enticing unsuspecting individuals to approach. With a voice as smooth as the gentlest breeze, it would beckon them to ride upon its back. In one small Icelandic village, there lived a young girl named Solveig. She had heard tales of the Nyker from her grandmother and been warned about the dangers it posed. However, Solveig's curious nature often led her to the water's edge, where she would gaze longingly at the peaceful surface. One sunny afternoon, as Solveig stood on the lake shore, she heard a gentle whisper carried by the wind. The Nyker, in its human form, spoke to her, but its words like a siren's song, inviting her to experience the thrill of riding upon its back. Intrigued by the offer, Solveig cautiously approached the Nyker. Its eyes gleamed with mystery, and its voice held a captivating charm. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, Solveig climbed onto the Nyker's back, her small hands gripping its sleek mane. The Nyker galloped across the water with grace, gliding effortlessly, as if defying the laws of nature. The wind whispered through Solveig's hair, and she felt a sense of exhilaration and freedom she had never experienced before. However, as the Nyker raced faster and faster from the shore, Solveig's initial excitement turned to a deep sense of unease. She realized she had been lured into the Nyker's trap, and its true intention was to drown her in the depths of the lake. Summoning her courage, Solveig mustered all her strength and leaned from the Nyker's back, splashing into the water. The Nyker, surprised by her escape, vanished in a swirl of water, its plans foiled. Gasping for air, Solveig swam back to the safety of the shore, her heart pounding with both fear and relief. She knew then the importance of heeding the warning passed down through generations. From that day forward, Solveig shared her harrowing encounter with the Nyker, warning others of its deceptive nature. The tale of Solveig's escape became a cautionary story, reminding children and adults alike to be wary of the enchanting lure of the Nyker and respect the power of the Icelandic waters. And so the story of Solveig and the Nyker continued to be shared, reminding the people of Iceland to cherish the beauty of the lakes and the rivers, but also approached them with caution and respect for their hidden dangers that may lie beneath their tranquil surface. Iceland, with its vast coastlines and rich maritime history, is home to numerous tales of sea monsters and mythical creatures that have captured the imagination of its people. Let's move on to sea monsters. Icelandic folklore includes various sea monsters, the most famous for which is the Lagerflotsamur, a creature resembling a giant serpent said to reside in the lake of Lagerflot. Other sea monsters, such as the Hafströmbur and the Skeljungur, are believed to inhabit the coastal waters of Iceland. These creatures are often described as dangerous and capable of capsizing ships. Here is the legend of the Iceland sea serpent. In the remote fishing village of Halfnes, located along the eastern shores of Iceland, a fearsome sea serpent was said to lurk beneath the icy waters. This colossal creature, known as the Iceland sea serpent, was described as having a long, sinuous body with scales that glistened like diamonds. According to local legends, fishermen would often spot the sea serpent rising from the depths, coiling and twisting through the waves. Its immense size and eerie presence struck fear into the hearts of the seafarers. One brave fisherman, Einar, who possessed a daring spirit, decided to confront the sea serpent. Armed with harpoons and a heart full of determination, he set out on his fishing vessel. After days of patiently searching the seas, Einar finally came face to face with this magical creature. In a fierce battle, Einar and his crew fought valiantly against the serpent, their harpoons striking its scaly body, but the sea serpent proved to be a formidable adversary, thrashing and lashing its powerful tail. Just as it seemed that all hope was lost, Einar managed to deliver a decisive blow, piercing the creature's heart. With a mighty roar, the sea serpent succumbed to its wounds and sank back into the depths, vanishing from sight. Einar returned to Halfnes a hero. His victory celebrated throughout the village, and from that day forward, the people of Halfnes believed Einar's triumph had brought protection and good fortune to their fishermen, ensuring safe journeys and bountiful catches. Let's talk about Jökulsárlón lake monster. Nestled amidst the breathtaking landscape of this glacier lagoon, a mysterious creature was said to dwell. This elusive being was described as a massive serpentine creature with a gleaming black scale and piercing blue eyes. Fishermen and travelers passing by the glacier lagoon would occasionally catch glimpses of the creature as it would rise from the depths and glide gracefully through the icy waters. Its presence was often accompanied by a sense of awe and reverence. The locals believed that this lake monster possessed a divine connection to the ancient forces of nature. They revered the creature, considering it a guardian of the glacier lagoon and a symbol of the raw power and beauty of Iceland's natural wonders. According to the legend, those fortunate enough to encounter the lake monster would receive blessings and good fortune and protection on their journeys. Many travelers would visit the glacier lagoon, hoping to catch a glimpse of the majestic creature and experience the magical energy it was believed to emanate. These stories of sea monsters and mythical creatures are just a glimpse into the rich folklore of Iceland. They serve as a reminder of the deep connection between the Icelandic people and the awe-inspiring natural world that surrounds them. This has been another episode of Strange History. If you like this podcast, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, or wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast these days. This episode has been produced by Dead to Me Productions, and I, your host, Amy Domestico, had much fun making this one. Thank you, Darkcast Network, and thank you, Spreaker, for being the most amazing podcast host ever. Peace out.
Yay!